So do Toyota and Lexus computers go bad over time? How do you figure out in diagnosis that do we have a bad computer problem or do we have something else? In this video, I want to share with you some important information you should know, whether you're DIYing, whether you are just a car owner represented with a big bill, or you are actually a technician in this field. And sometimes computer problems are pretty interesting. Let's start with the video. We'll talk about them in details. Let's talk about computer problems, and let's talk about the number one question, was what we started the video with. Do Toyota and Lexus computers have problems? But mainly we're talking about engine and transmission computer. The simple answer is yes and no. Let's start with the no first. Is this car less than 5 years old? That's the number one question you want to ask yourself, because if it is up to 5 years old, the chances of that diminish almost to nothing. That it's a possibility. They really make their computers well, and they typically don't have issues. Exceptions here and there, but that should be the last thing, the absolute last thing. And even when you arrive at it, suspect it. That's the number one thing. Then we go into the yes, and the yes is a very loosely held one. You really need to pay attention to this one. If the car is over 10 years old, the chances of a bad computer increase a little bit, but not a lot. You need to pay attention to this part. Here's how computers fail in Toyota and Lexus, from what I see in my experience. Age is the number one thing. Talk a little bit about that. But the other problems are bad repairs, bad wiring repairs, car accidents. We swapped an engine and all the wire harness is all destroyed, and things are shorting together and potentially destroying things in the car. That's the one reason. Rodent damage that shorted wires together. That's another reason. But if we don't have any of that, this car hasn't had any repairs, no rodent damage, car is driving perfectly fine, then we have a problem. You go on the forums. This is what I see all the time. We go on the forums. The first couple posts, one of them says, "Computer is notorious on these. They love to go bad." Okay. Is that the first thing you're going to go tackle? No. That should not be the first thing, folks. This is the mistake. You need to go through the diagnostic steps. You need to check everything else before you suspect a computer. That's very important. Because sometimes you'll have a code that the forums have not run into. You'll assume it's a computer problem. That's a mistake. You need to check everything. Even when you have a kind of a cold shut case, you have to check everything. You have to kind of dot your I's, cross your T's before you decide this is a computer problem. Because you could go down as I see this, folks. That's why I'm telling you. We send the computer to get repaired. We get the computer back, plug it in. We have the same problem. Then we get into did they fix it right? Let's go buy another used one. Well, that one is also not good. Well, let's send the used one to repair. Maybe we had a bad one to begin with and they didn't repair it right. Let's send it to another company and see. And then we're back and forth simply because we did not follow the proper diagnostics and it was something else. That's very important, folks. This is a very important step, that you realize that the computer should be the last thing, not the first thing you do. You need to do your due diligence. Let me run you through some examples, because these two particular cars, the LS430, loves to have, it is entering deep into the territory of computer problems. And here's how they typically, and this is the weird part, every car, for some reason, will manifest the problems in specific ways. LS430s, transmission problems. LS400s, car shuts off. ES300, car doesn't start or shuts off on its own and it wouldn't start again. This is just some of the patterns we see all the time. GS300, early generation GS, like 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. Transmission problems, horrible ones, we would blow up the transmission. Every car will have a certain pattern, and the reason they have that certain pattern, not because it's the car that has the problem, is the design of the computer and the points of failure that happens in it. What does it typically affect? That's just why it is. Let's take some examples. The LS430s, transmission problems. This car was a victim of Bad diagnosis. Let me tell you the story of this car. This car was bought with a transmission problem. Perfectly fine car. Actually, it's a really nice car otherwise. Transmission problem. Here's what the previous owner did. Took it to a transmission shop. That's the biggest disaster. Anytime you see an LS430 next to a transmission shop, we have a problem. Nothing against transmission folks, but these don't have a lot of transmission problems. It's a very complicated transmission. You take it to a repair shop, a transmission shop, they're going to use aftermarket parts. And that's when all the problems start. Because if you want to price out a clutch kit for this transmission and a valve body, which is the bare minimum that should happen for every single transmission rebuild, you just bought yourself a transmission and a half from Lexus. That's the problem. So it doesn't make sense to rebuild these transmissions. Here's the problem. Previous owner took it to a transmission shop, shifting horribly. All of a sudden it was perfectly fine. The next day it was shifting horribly. Car doesn't even have a lot of miles. Barely, just over 100. Transmission shop, it must be a transmission problem. Let's rebuild it. Well, they rebuilt it. Exactly the same problem. Here's the problem though. I don't think they rebuilt it. I think they got a used transmission, painted it, and put it in the car. Because I see a lot of signs of this transmission never been opened. Red sealer, things just look like nobody touched them. Then, and only then, did they decide, well, let's set the computer out for repair. Which they did. Repaired the computer. Actually, the company they used to repair it is the same company we've had a very good relationship with, and they know these cars. They repaired the computer. Symptoms were better, but shortly after that, they have multiple solenoid codes from contamination, from potentially aftermarket solenoid, which is the worst idea for Lexus and Toyota. Then they sold the car. Current owner bought it, and they have all kinds of problems with this transmission. We started with a bad ECU. ECU is a computer engine, like electronic control unit. They started with that, but we went to rebuild the transmission, which needed no rebuild, ruined it, and then we discovered the problem, and then now we still have a problem because we ruined the perfectly fine transmission. That's the problem. That's one case. Another case. Car comes in. We suspect it needs a computer because of a transmission. But you check pressures and you look at the data of the transmission. This is not a computer problem. This transmission is slipping flat out. Pressure is good and the transmission is slipping. Do you think that is a computer problem? That is not. You have proper pressure, you're getting it where it needs to go to apply the clutch, and you have no application. That's a worn out clutch, flat out. Not a computer problem. Now, would it make sense when you do transmission work to send the computer out and get it repaired as a precaution? Not a bad idea. But that's not the problem. But here's the other problem with the LS430s. I'm just going to talk briefly about this and we'll switch to another example. If you feel the shifting get rough because of a faulty transmission circuit in the ECU, you just ignore it, keep driving. Well, eventually you're going to destroy the transmission. That's a possibility. So we've had a GS300 that did that. So GS300 is the same thing. They'll start shifting rough. We took the computer, we sent it out. After diagnosis, everything was fine. Took the computer, sent it out for repair. Everything is good. We took it for a drive. On the second test drive, the transmissions are slipping. And then we had rough shifts and kind of strange behavior of the transmission. Well, this car needs a transmission because they kept driving on it like that. The customer initially was not convinced. No. We must have gotten a bad repair on the... No, we did not. You've driven on it too long. That's the key part that you know. Let's switch to another model. We've actually done a video on this one. It's an ES300. It was the dealership told the owner, you should junk this car because we don't know what's wrong with it. Another shop did a parts cannon on it, didn't fix it. Car comes here, we check everything. Computer problem. I actually opened that computer and you can see problems on the board. I'm not an electronics repair guy and I can see problems on the board. What are the problems, you ask? capacitors leaking. That's not the only thing though. You sometimes will open a computer just to look. Capacitors are perfectly fine. That doesn't mean they're good, and that doesn't mean there are no other problems. That's not my neighborhood. I don't fix electronic boards. That's why we send it to someone who does, because that someone we send it to does not fix cars. They just fix electronic components like computers. That ES300 94, the owner was ready to junk that car, because nobody can figure out what's going on with it, and nobody wants to deal with it. Threw parts at it, he spent a lot, and it's a beautiful car. It had 74,000 miles. Well, it needed a computer. Fix the computer, undo some of the parts cannoning on that car, and it was fine. That car recently came to our shop 30,000 miles later. Still running, because the computer was all it needed from the beginning. LS400s, and it's equally Toyota Celsiors. Not this generation, the previous generation. They have a problem with shutting off. It only happens if you drive it for like an hour or two, all of a sudden the car will shut off. No reason, no warning lights, no nothing. Car shuts off, you start it, starts right up. Oh, drive it a little bit, it'll shut off again. And again, and again, and again. That's an ECU problem, folks. After you do your due diligence, make sure you don't have an overheating fuel pump that is 20, 30 years old. Gotta make sure of that. So when you gotta get the problem to happen and check your fuel pressure right there and then. Difficult, because you gotta drive the car for 2 hours. Kind of difficult. But you gotta do your due diligence. You can't just set the computer, although God bless the folks that repair computers. It's not a small fortune. It is definitely cheaper to fix a computer than to replace it. However, let's talk about the most important thing. If you have a newer car, like we have a Sienna, that is, I believe it's a 15 or 16 Sienna, had rodent damage. And here's what the number one thing that'll destroy an ECU in modern cars. The rodent chewed up the injector wires. The two, positive and negative, touched. The minute that happens, the driver inside the ECU that drives that injector immediately fries. There's no way around it. You want to destroy a computer? Short out the injector wires. It will immediately blow that injector, and that injector will never fire again. Not the injector itself, the driver inside got fried. We have one like that. But that car, you can get a brand new ECU. And the reason why we get a brand new ECU for a car like that, it's available. And the cost of repair is a little bit less, but I'd much rather put a warranty behind a brand new part from the manufacturer than a repair. Nothing against the repair folks, but when you have no other choice, you can't go buy a brand new one, then repair it. And some folks will disagree with that theory, but to each their own. That's my advice. If the ECU is available new, buy it new. Because no matter how thorough the electronic repairs guys are, they can't check every single thing. They'll be there for 3 days. Some of the modern cars, the computers are extremely complicated. And you can't check, it's not realistic that you're gonna check every single little thing. You'll be there for 3 weeks. That's not how this works. They're gonna address your problems and leave the rest alone. And that makes total sense. Here's a piece of advice for you. If you own old Lexus and even old Toyota, although the old Toyota they seem to be holding a little bit better, but still, if you're doing a transmission replacement, send that ECU to get checked out. Not a bad idea. Seriously, not a bad idea. And if you own an LS430, you just put a transmission in it for one reason or another, send that ECU. Not a terrible idea. If you have this car, it has a lot of miles, you love it, you're not getting rid of it, but you have another car to drive, send the ECU to get checked out. Not a bad idea, especially LS400s, ES300s, older ones. Talking about a really old one. Because if you're gonna be very aware of the problem, especially with LS430s, GS300s, same way, if you catch the problem the minute it starts, stop, send the ECU for repair, we're good. But if you keep driving on it, we're gonna potentially cause permanent damage. RAV4s, early like 2001, 2002, 2003, RAV4s also had computer problems, although those were manufacturing problems. These were the case from day one. They had a problem with these, and some of the ECU repair guys can fix those. But folks, most importantly, Don't assume the problem is immediately a computer problem. Usually, and this is what we're going to end this video with, usually computer problems are strange, unexplainable, does not follow the typical pattern of diagnosis. Like you drive a car for 2 hours, fuel pressure tech's good, ignition is good, everything with this car is perfect. It just shuts off on its own for no reason, no apparent reason. Or case of an LS430, pressures are good, solenoids are working, everything is perfect, except the transmission doesn't shift right in certain speeds and certain RPMs, because the computer is not commanding this transmission correctly. It's all over the place. Unexplainable behavior is usually what should start steering you. Okay, we have potentially an ECU problem. Let's double check everything, and if everything checks out, let's send it out and get it repaired. It's very important, but more important, don't skip it altogether. Before you go to replace a transmission, make sure you don't have a bad ECU. Before you go to replace half the car because it doesn't start, do you have a bad ECU? And the number one telltale sign of ECU problems, something you may catch with cars that die out, is the check engine light on when you turn the key on? Because if it's not, the computer is not live. Whether it's the blown fuse or something else, or the computer internally shut off, you won't have a check engine light. That's the universal sign of an engine computer that is not powering on any modern car, or even some of the older ones with a check engine light. It's very important you realize that. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you liked it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.